Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am fired up to have you on the show today. Got two young guys that are going to blow you guys out of the water, and girls, too. And I think they're single, but we won't talk about that in this show, maybe the next show. But we dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose, and that's a servant's heart. Go out there and bring value to people, help people. And what happens? You make a difference in their life, and you feel better. It's a great feeling. I've done this with Walker, our guest today, and helped him. And just go out and give as many gifts as you can. Also, too, we dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea that our guests will motivate you, inspire you, and educate you. And this is going to happen today. And we'll get a two-prong approach here from two great guys. Also, I want to thank our sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. They're building a thought leader platform with very highly successful people that want to just give back and change the world. If you want to be part of Pantheon, reach out to me and I'll get you all that information. So I want to jump into the show today. I want to welcome Hampton and Walker. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having us.
And impact and change is big, and wellness is huge. We just got out of COVID. I'm going to bring this all back. Mental health is on the rise. Suicide is on the rise and growing at a rapid pace. And anxiety, stress, all that is coming. And it's been here all this time, but I think it's at a higher level. Recession and income and new president, all this stuff coming at us. So what do you got to do? You got to meditate. So that's what Walker and Hampton did. And Walker, I'm going to start with you. Why did you guys start Ascend Meditations?
Actually, Steve, I think Hampton's probably more suited to answer that question to start out because he was the one with the idea. So I'm going to let him start with that one.
Let's go with the man.
All right, so I'll start from the beginning. Before Ascend, give some backstory. So as we mentioned, playing football at Wake Forest and not playing it really was a shock to my mental health. Coming from high school where I was playing all 4 years, captain for 2 years. I was very confident in my football abilities, and then going to a place and not having that same reputation, not being able to perform the way I was used to performing was a strike to my mental health. And I lost my identity that I had in football, and I completely, started setting these limiting beliefs on myself, recognizing maybe I'm not as good as I thought, and kind of just this negative self-talk. And it built and built and built and built, coupled with negative habits. It led me to a very uncomfortable place, and I just wasn't used to it. So when I entered the transfer portal, half of it was to go to a new school to play football. The other half was to just reset and realign. I needed a clean slate. I needed to be in a place where I'm able to ground myself and find my identity again, truly. And through the transfer process, I found Georgetown. The summer when I was at Georgetown before the season, I started getting really anxious about the season. New place. I don't have my friends that I had at Wake, very great group of guys. I was very confused and very lost, to be honest. And I talked to my mom. I was kind of telling her, she's always been a very spiritual person, a very, very light person. I was like, hey mom, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just, I kind of have a hurricane in my head, thoughts are going crazy. And she said, you should try meditation. And, being a football player, offensive lineman, I'm like, get out of here. Like, that's not, get out of here. Things kept going. I'm like, okay, I need to try this. I need to see what it's all about. And I tried it, and I absolutely hated it. The first time I tried it, I was terrified because I was sitting with my thoughts for the first time rather than distracting myself with TikTok or something, I actually was sitting with these thoughts and it was incredibly uncomfortable. But I started to notice change and I stuck with it. And it really became a platform and a ritual for me to be able to recognize these beliefs and recognize these thought patterns that I was stuck in and realize that's all they are is thought patterns. And I need to stop identifying with these thought patterns. So that's how I got into meditation. And, the way that I did it was very, very traditional and orthodox. However, in Western society, it's a little bit unorthodox. And, that is, I would just listen to silence. I wouldn't listen to binaural beats. I didn't know anything about that. So I would just sit in a dark room with nothing playing. And I did that for about 6 months. And then last February of 2024, my roommate was actually listening to a guided meditation. And this was probably the first time I actually ever listened to a guided meditation. And I was like, okay, let's give this a try. Let's see what this is about. And so I'm trying to meditate to this guided meditation. And it's different than what I've been doing. It wasn't exactly sticking with me. I was kind of, the narrator was saying things that I necessarily, it wasn't clicking. And that's when I got the idea. I was like, what if you were able to create a meditation catered specifically for you, to your requests, your inputs, your situations? And it was just, it truly was like a light just in my head when I was meditating. And then I was like, oh, and then with this, we could do this, and it'd be able to help you visualize, help you manifest, help you be grounded. It could, there's so many things you can do with AI. And I was like, this could be absolutely amazing. Like this could be something that everyone in the world could use, not just because meditation's so niche, only so many people meditate. However, with the capabilities of AI, it's catered to you. So no matter what stage you're in meditation, what you're going through, it's very accessible. And I was like, I've been waiting for something to be able to share. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was like, this is it. And not only is it, the impact that it could have, I know the impact it's had on my life with meditation and Walker's life. It is very exciting. And we just jumped right into it. I mean, I called Walker up and I was like, dude, let's do it. Like, let's go. And then he was all gas. And so we've been at it for about 11 months now.
Yeah, that's great. And it's funny. A lot of NFL outsides listen to interviews. They use meditation, chiropractic, ice bath. I mean, a lot of holistic things that people don't realize because they're not announcing like when ESPN's interviewing, like, hey, by the way, I meditated today. It's just not what you should do. Your story's unbelievable. Walker, let's bring you in. How did you fit in the puzzle?
Yeah, no, for sure. Sophomore year, like Hamp said, not playing, still on scout team, not traveling. I just got out of a 4-year relationship and I was at a low point in my life. Things on the home front weren't great either. And, that's the first time I really learned, how to breathe. I was either in the past depression or future anxiety, but I was never like in the present moment. And I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, Mr. Ramona, but, I'm a Christian guy myself and, I would read scripture and meditate on scripture. And that's kind of how I started meditating when I learned to breathe. And it really brought meaning into my life and it gave me purpose. And after that, we were also lucky enough as student athletes at Wake Forest. We had a subscription to Calm, like a free subscription through a partnership with Wake Forest. And, I loved how it gave, base meditations, base sleep stories. But the fact of the matter was nothing felt individual for what I was going through, right? So when Hampton called me and told me, man, this is what we're going to do, it's going to be personalized for you, for what we were going through in that time of need, I was all for it because there was truly a need for it. And, when we set out, it was never to create a $1 billion company. It was like, how can we help 1 billion people live happier, healthier lives? And I can truly attest that me and Hampton live that every single day. And kudos to him and the amazing job he does. And, without the team that we've built, because it's always about the who before the what, and then the bus starts rolling. That's where we are. But that's a little bit in short how I got into it. And obviously I was all for it when we started rolling.
I love how your life experience leads you to business. Those are the best businesses because your passion is definitely evident when you guys speak about it. And you mentioned Calm, and there is Better Health and a bunch of apps that incorporate meditation. You mentioned a little bit about customization, but let's either one of you or both of you dive into why Ascend is going to be a little different than those others. You're muted, Hampton. You can stay on mute. You can stay unmuted. No worries.
Hope we have some people that can read lips.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, yeah. So the reason that I think the personalization aspect of Ascend makes it so drastically different and so powerful is that, let me preface this. I used Headspace. Once I started listening to guided meditations, we were creating Ascend. I started using Headspace, and it's fantastic. Calm is fantastic. Um, However, they're very much, if you will, like a Netflix of meditations and sleep stories. So you'll have your categories. You'll have anxiety. You'll have depression. You'll have energy meditations. Same with sleep. So there is personalization. You do get what you want. If you're looking for anxiety, you'll find meditations for anxiety. However, what makes Ascend different is if you're feeling anxious, you could go into Ascend and say, "Hey, I'm feeling anxious about this job interview. It's my dream job. I really want it. Can you help me, ease these anxieties as well as, visualize myself actually in the interview and speaking with confidence and speaking with energy and excitement. Help me feel as if this is already accomplished." So rather than basically getting a category of meditation, you can get a category with specific input to what is causing your anxiety, what is causing your potential depression, what do you want energy for? I have a big football game tonight. I am feeling a little bit tired, and I'm certainly feeling anxious. I just don't know if I have what it takes. It's Super Bowl. Help me visualize myself making that game-winning catch. Help me visualize myself running the perfect route, making the perfect throw. Um, and that's what makes us different is the ability to cater input specifically to your desires.
Sold. I'm sold.
Also,
Go ahead, because I love the engagement part.
yeah,
That I did not
no,
know. That's powerful.
I was also just going to piggyback off that too.
Yeah.
Meditation plans are huge. It's another app
Mhm.
that, no one else is doing right now that Ascend's offering. And, as we're targeting student athletes to start, and that's our niche because that's who we were, that's our market, that's who we're passionate about to help right away. The meditation plans allow you to visualize a goal, right? So if I wanted to become a starter on my Wake Forest football team my senior year, right, I could put in an input that says, I want to become a starter. I want to become a starting safety on Wake Forest. I'm going to do this, this, and this to achieve my goal. Now, obviously, the more specific you make the plan, it's better that it's going to be. But the app will actually break up a step-by-step process for you to see yourself achieving this goal. And as we know as athletes, everything starts in the mind. You have to see it over and over and over again, and then that translates onto the field. So that's another huge feature that's really been helping not only us in our personal lives, but also athletes that have really like sent us surveys, sent us texts, emails, and been like, man, this is really helping me with my success on the field. And seeing that, it really makes it all worth it because we're changing the lives of others, and it's so meaningful and powerful.
Yeah, you've said that twice, and I appreciate that, Walker. So, doing business with Servant's Heart podcast. So, let me, for the audience, you and you guys. So, I'm a business owner walking into a big meeting for a contract. I'm signing a multi-million-dollar contract. I could take your app going, I'm going into a meeting, an energy meeting, and it's $1 million contract. And this guy has been really pushy with me. Give me the energy to make to ask the right questions, something like that. And it pops out a meditation plan before I walk in that meeting, right?
That's right. And to expand on
Wow.
that,
Go ahead.
I know that you're a Christian man yourself.
Yep.
You could include in that, and additionally include scriptures that are related specifically to this. Include a scripture for me to meditate on that will give me the wisdom and then the spiritual insight to walk in here and truly be guided by the Spirit.
That, thank you, Hampton. That's huge. Now, if you're not a faith person out there, you don't have to do that. That's just the customization. I love hearing from you guys. Audience, I know you're probably going, hey, how do I get the app? We'll get there in a second. But I want to talk to both of you guys to answer this question because we talked about it before the show. Being an athlete and being a young athlete, now you're out and starting business. How did your athletic background help you to start Ascend? Either one can start.
Yeah, I think Steve, it comes down to like two words. I think it's discipline and consistency. That's something you really learn with athletics, and especially playing ACC football because you got to be at a roller at a certain time, you eat at a certain time, you lift at a certain time, you go to meetings at a certain time. Everything's very structured. But doing things the right way is so essential, and that's a huge thing that we really carried into Ascend, and as well as showing up every single day, being the same person every day, because you can be the same person for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a couple months, but if you're not consistent, you're not having your routine, you're never going to get to where you want to be. So those two words really summarize, my athletic journey, even though I wasn't playing, and I've carried that directly into Ascend, which has really helped out.
Powerful. How about you,
Yeah,
Hampton?
I think the Walker hit the two main points and the 2 points that are the most prominent. However, I think a really important thing that's helped me and something that I've been able to cultivate from being both at Wake Forest and Georgetown High School is leadership when you think of leadership on a football team, you typically think of the captain, you typically think of the coach, but there's so many leadership roles throughout a football team. There's your position group. You always have a couple leaders within there. You have your offensive leader, you have your defensive leaders, you have your actual team captains. Then you have your position coach, offensive coaches, head coach, strength coach. The levels of leadership of the football team, you're experienced, and you just experience so much different leadership. You get what I'm saying? It's amazing.
It's
yeah.
You built the system of a business. You got your CEO, you got your vice presidents, you got your managers, you got your employees, football players, coaches, trainers, head coach, and then the pro general manager, and then owner. So you've got this hierarchy that really, that's why I love sports and football, especially. I think my audience knows that, probably talk about it a lot. I want both of you, because you're 11 months in, coming into almost a year. So you're not really a startup, but are. But I do have a lot of 25 to 40-year-olds listening going, I want to start a business. What piece of advice would you give give them, and both of you, I want you to do this, to get started and what they need to do?
Yeah, I mean, I can start. I think the biggest piece of advice that we had after getting past like the vision phase and writing out a business plan and, writing everything down on a vision board and where we want to go is, finding the right people. I really do preach life is all about relationships, and, I really stand on that. And like I said earlier, Steve, you got to find the who before the what. And when you find the who, the bus starts rolling and you get to where you want to be, because life really is all about synergy. And, I'm so thankful for our team at Ascend and every member that's joined the team, because each one has made such a powerful impact for us to get to where we want to be. And, without them, me and Hampton are nothing. We are not, because we can't do it without them. And that's the beautiful thing about a relationship. It's a beautiful thing about a team. And, life's all about synergy. So what I would recommend to all your listeners out there who want to start a business, after you get past that, initial business plan and then, your vision board, make sure you find the right people, because the people are the most important thing.
It's funny, real quick, Hampton, you both are starting to sound like head coaches. You're the head coach of Ascend, and these people, your players and managers and whatever it may be, because a great head coach, what do they say? Belichick says it all the time, like him or hate him. Hey, it's all about my team. I didn't have these guys, I wouldn't be getting these awards. So I appreciate that, Walker. Go ahead, Hampton.
Yeah, so I want to say that what really has propelled us to move as fast as we have, and this is 100% credit to Walker, is that he takes action. Me personally, I'll find myself, before doing something, I'll tend to maybe overthink it. I'm like, okay, but this could happen. This could happen. It has to be perfect. Walker's like, let's just do it. Let's do it, and then we'll figure it out. Like it's his trust in both of us that, like, whatever we do, we don't need to know every single step. It's just like, let's just go. Like, let's do it. We're gonna figure it out. Jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down. That's the mentality Walker's had this whole time, and it's helped me tremendously, and it's built our trust. It's built my trust in him, knowing that if I'm anxious about something, trying to figure out, okay, is this in place, he's like, it doesn't need to be yet. Let's just go. Let's take action, and all the right pieces are going to fall into place. So that's fully credit to Walker, but that's been a huge principle for us.
Well, I'm going to give him kudos, because Walker, that's huge, because inaction during COVID, a lot of business went out of business. Should we, just like you did, Hampton? Should we, restaurant, outdoor, and they never took the action, and they went out of business. I love that you did that, Walker. And we talked about that when we first met. Young people don't do action. Well, somebody told me to do this. You're all listening to the outside. Your friend says, no, don't do that. Don't spend money there. But take the action, because you can always pivot, right? Go ahead, Walker.
I would say Hampton's very similar. We kind of developed a philosophy that we would rather, make 3 mistakes and get it right the 4th time by the time someone even starts. And I got to give a lot of credit to Hampton as well, because he thinks so much differently than I do. He brings so many ideas to the table that, like, I truly could never think of. It's really gotten us to where we want to be. He's like, oh, we should do this. We should do this. We should do this. And then I kind of come in and I'm like, okay, so how are we going to get there? And that's kind of the steps. But without his ideas and his vision, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like I said, it's the who before the what. And I think that's a really testament too to when you're looking for a business partner. One, like Hampton hit on, loyalty is huge, and you got to find somebody that you want to go to war with and you die for. And I really would die for this guy, because that's my brother. I got 2 sisters, but, and then the second thing is, make sure you don't think the exact same, because we think so differently, and that's what makes us get to where we want to be. So honestly, you got to give a lot of credit to Ham, because, without him, we're nothing.
No, and it's kudos to both of you. It's yin and yang. You're the yang, Hampton's the yang, whatever. It's true, and that you guys are willing to listen to each other, and because people are, oh, partnerships are hard. Oh, I got a company with 2 partners, but we know it's, hey, we're going to do this. Here's our goal. Your mission's all set. We're coming to the end here. So both of you, I want you to show us what the future looks like for Ascend. New things. What do you want to see happen?
Absolutely.
You're the
So
visionary. Let's go.
on the product side, right now what we have on the app store is our MVP, if you will. It's our version 1.0, minimal viable product. And so it has the most base features. We wanted to get the app out. We wanted to start collecting user data, start getting feedback. What should we incorporate? So right now you'll get guided meditations, customizable sleep stories, and then the plans that Walker hit on. We want to expand on this and offer a better variation of meditation. So say if you want a walking meditation, well, right now you could input within the input, I want a walking meditation. However, we want to make it just a better user flow where you'll be able to select what type of meditation you want. So if you want it to be a grounding practice, if you want it to be a walking meditation, if you want it to be a body scan, you'll be able to click these things and expand on that. Sleep meditations are going to be a big thing. I know those are very, very popular. And same thing, you could input that right now. However, we want to make that more engaging, more accessible, so you don't have to type it in, right? You can just hit, this is sleep. Aside from that, we want to add a manifestation feature. So specifically a visualization feature where you could say, similar to how Walker was talking with the plans, I want to manifest a higher role in my company. I want to manifest my dream home. And then it would be, okay, well, tell us exactly what your dream home has. Does it have, how many bedrooms, what color, where do you want it to be? You'll input all this, and then we'll create a series of guided meditations and visualizations to see, help you see yourself in your dream house, feel yourself walking in for the first time. That's going to be a big feature. That's one we're working on right now, as well as affirmations, personalized affirmation meditations, affirmation notifications. And then outside from the app, which will have an evolution of features. This is a constantly evolving and growing thing. We want to expand to more of a community. We want to be speaking at events. We want to be hosting meditations. We want to be sponsoring athletes. Truly, there is no limit. We want to do so much, and we want to just grow and impact and find people to help. Truly.
And then just to answer your
go ahead,
question
Walker.
real briefly too, on the growth side of things. We're trying to partner with universities right now. We've had a couple meetings to essentially get the app free for all athletes in an athletic department, so they can see themselves achieving their goals. Kind of like how we had Calm, right? We want to be able to give back and give to those schools. We're working with those partnerships right now, as well as the individual subscriptions. But the future, we want to get into schools. We want to get into orientation programs for those kids that go from high school to college, to realize that you're not alone. Here's a resource to help you not only de-stress and help on the mental side of things, but also to visualize your goals and gain a mindful edge to unlock your full potential one breath at a time.
You guys are brilliant. I can't believe it. In audience, these guys are 21 years old. They're talking like they're 63 like me. I had to learn, take me 40 years to learn. You guys learn. It's truly appreciative. And as you know, I'm going to support you, and I'm going to remember ways to support you. Let's finish. We're coming to the end here with a fun question. We'll start with you, Hampton. So, and you get the advantage, Walker, because you get to hear the question before.
Yeah.
I got a reservation at a restaurant for you, Hampton. Table 4. You're going to sit in one of the chairs. Who would you invite, dead or alive? Why would you invite them? And what food would you order?
Okay. I'll start with the easier question. I would order steak and mac and cheese. That's my go-to always been.
Amen. Oh my gosh. Okay.
The first person I would invite is Marcus Aurelius. I read Meditations. I've read it 3 times. I look at it all the time. His book Meditations. It's his bedside journal, Emperor of Rome. I just think that it's incredible that being the ruler of the world, he chose virtue. He chose to live according to nature, as he says it. I just find that inspiring. He would be the first person. I would invite, so many good options. I would probably invite Nikola Tesla. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I would love to know more about what he talks about with energy and vibrations and frequencies and these things. I think that it's absolutely insane. I'm actually reading a book right now about his philosophy and his perspective. I would love to pick his brain, even though I probably wouldn't be able to comprehend much of what he's saying. First, and then the last person, I would probably pick Hank Williams Jr. I love Hank Williams Jr. He's always been, my favorite. My mom loves him. My grandparents. It's just he's always been someone I've listened to, and I just would love to talk to him.
Can't go wrong with Hank. Kudos to all three of those. Are awesome. Walker, how about you?
Yeah, my three would be Jesus, first off, my Lord and Savior. Second would be John the Baptist. And the last one would be Apostle Paul. Those guys are, I don't need to say anything about that, but, and the food would probably be king crab legs and then some fish.
Look at
to
you
have some
guys.
fellowship over dinner like that. So
You guys are completely different, but you make it work because you guys love each other. No, this is perfect.
I'd love to know who.
Oh, for me,
Yes,
definitely my dad who passed in 2017, Jesus. And I want to talk to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What is going in that brain, the stuff that he's doing? Nobody, you're the second person out of 600 shows has asked that. So I appreciate it, Hampton. What will we eat? Everything you guys said. We'd have to probably throw a few burritos or tacos in there too, just to mix this thing up. But you guys, an audience, want to join our meal? Come on, we got to charge it. No, I'm kidding. But you guys, I want to thank you so much. You guys, audience out there, these guys are 21 years old building something massive, but you can see in this podcast, one, that they care and trust each other, but two, they're learning. Hampton said twice he's read this book and that book. How many 21-year-olds are reading books? Nothing wrong with you out there, but just something to think about, because there's no judgment here in the Bible. That we never judge. We just aspire to serve. So anybody interested in the app, I know it's on iOS. Is it on Android yet?
About a week away.
About a week away. Okay. So they could just, and how could they find the app in the Play Store? Or not the Play Store, but the Apple.
Yeah, if you just search Ascend Meditations, you can download the app on the App Store. Obviously, love for everyone to check out the website. And our socials for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram is ascendapp.ai. And also, too, if you ever want to exchange stories and just like synergize and meet with me, I'd love to meet with everybody and all of your listeners, because that's what life's about. It's Walker Ferguson at ascendmeditations.app.
There you go. Perfect.
What I like to add real quick is
go ahead.
App Store is only US right now. We're US only, working to expand that. It's very, very
and Canada.
US and Canada. Yes.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it in case somebody listens, because we do have 44 countries that listen and they'll get it. Just keep, with tech or app guys out there, just keep checking. It's I've been involved with some apps. I know what you guys are going through. It's like, it's going to be ready tomorrow. Okay, another 2 weeks. It just happens. It's how tech works, how apps work. Just keep checking, because I'm going to tell you now what I've learned today. It's well worth it. Now, the other thing, here's your call to action, audience, at the end of the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, but not for why you think. And this show is a perfect example. Do you have a sibling or a son or a daughter that's young that wants to start a business? These are two guys you want them to listen to. Grab this link. To me, it's serving, giving a gift to somebody, and have them listen to Walker and Hampton and go, oh my God, I can do it. Because I know they're going to tell you, and they've said that through the whole show. No matter what age you are, you're 21 or 91, this can be done. But there's ways to do it and things you need to learn, and reach out to them. But give that gift of the podcast. Because I know couple 2 or 3 25-year-olds I'm going to give this to that want to start a company. I know I'm giving them a great gift. So do that. The subscribe button will allow you to have those shows when they come on, get sent to you as a notification, or wherever way, email, whatever it may be. And if there's a comment, just comment on the YouTube channel. If it's for Walker or Hampton, I'll make sure they get it. And if you need to connect with them, you can't find them, reach out to me, because now I have access to them inside. They don't know that, but I got inside access because I want the world to see this. My goal is 1 million people to see Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Well, I'm just going to add something today on January 18th. I want to connect that to meditations, because if you serve, you got to serve yourself first. This is an app to do that. So with that being said, I want to thank you all. Me and Walker and Hampton want to thank you all for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.